Hello and welcome to another episode of retrepp.com, the video blog for real estate entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Phil Gilboy. Today I want to speak to you about the only 3 ways a business or professional practice can increase revenue. But before I do, I want to give credit to Jay Abraham, a marketing and business genius whose philosophies I've been a student of for many years. If you're not familiar with Jay and his business philosophies and products and training, I suggest you look him up. You can start at jayabraham.com. That being said, I've applied this concept strictly to the real estate practice, an area in which I've been a professional for 24 years. So there are only 3 ways a real estate entrepreneur can increase revenues. The first is to garnish more customers. This is an area that every real estate agent in the business focuses. Get more leads, get more prospects, get more clients. More farming, more social networking, more open houses, more door knocking, more outreach of all kinds. And while this is certainly necessary to have a flourishing real estate business, it's just one area in which you can increase revenue. The challenge with this technique is it takes lots of time and money. There are also 2 other areas that require attention to increase revenue. The beauty of these is that they require very little expense and effort. The profits from these activities fall directly to the bottom line. One is to increase the value or revenue of each transaction. So how do you achieve this? First, don't reduce your commission. At least don't fold on the cost of your services. Don't be commoditized. I'll do a whole show on this one subject, but let me just say that when a seller asks the cost of the service, it's not an objection. It's simply curiosity. I mean, wouldn't you ask how much something was going to cost before you had the service performed? The next is to make money on everything that's being offered to the seller and the buyer. Now, I will admit that this is not Real Estate 101, but for most of our viewers are not real estate novices, they're real estate entrepreneurs. Despite popular belief, it's not illegal for real estate entrepreneurs to make revenue on the ancillary services being offered to the seller or a buyer. There are rules, however, that must be followed. First, you must be an owner or a partner in the company that's offering the service and have real money at risk. Secondly, you must disclose the relationship to your client. Thirdly, you cannot force your client to use your services. And fourth and finally, you can only be compensated on your share of ownership and not the amount of business you bring to the enterprise. I believe that this will be the next wave in the real estate industry. Real estate brokerages and real estate joint ventures that provide this opportunity to its agents and members. This is a complex issue that we have made simple for the agents with the Real Estate Settlement Consultants, LLC. For more information, contact me directly. The goal with this second technique to increase revenue is to fund the practices to gain more clients. The technique number 1. I have a theory that every time you spend $1,000, you should get a new client. $1,000 in the newspaper, on the web, with telemarketing, whatever. But let's say that I'm not correct, that it takes $2,000. If you can make an extra $6,000, then you can invest this money in the activity to grow your customer base and make 3 more commissions. It's a never-ending cyclone of growth. The third technique is to increase the frequency of transactions. Now this is somewhat difficult because no one calls you after buying a house and says, "Hey, I love this house so much, sell me another one." But you can take steps to ensure that you are their agent again when they transact and get referrals along the way, although that may fall into category 1. You can also educate them on the value of investing in real estate. Create a real estate investment group, teach them how to use their IRAs and 401ks to invest in real estate, and introduce them to a program by Larry Kimball of the Real Estate Group in Colorado called A House for Every Child, a program for wealth through real estate ownership for the life of your children. Well, I could go on about these 3 techniques for increasing revenue all day. I will leave it at that. If you'd like to discuss these techniques more in depth, please feel free to send me an email. We'll be talking more in depth and taking a look at these techniques in the future episodes. So that's it for this episode of retrepp.com. Again, I'm Phil Gilboy. Thanks for listening. I look forward to seeing you again soon.